welcome everybody to the third match of DreamHack Masters here in Malmö. We're gonna have Navi versus GODSENT. How you doing, Metas?
I'm doing great. Finally, we're actually able to sit next to each other and cast the game.
It's been a while. It's been a while, hot minute, but it's been exciting opening games. The first one is a little bit of a blowout. The second one, that Liquid Mousesports matchup, was really, really cool to watch. And now, I mean, this is just kind of, they talked about on the desk, very much like the David versus Goliath type matchup, but it's the return of Pronax.
Yeah, and the thing is, well, with the Goliath, he's kind of limping. You know, he's got a bit of an injury with Guardian not being here. So that definitely could throw a spanner in the works. They're mentioning Starks as well, potentially just taking the AWP. He is a much more passive AWPer than we've seen from Guardian. He's a very aggressive AWPer looking for those opening picks. So I'm quite curious to see if Starks is going to try and shift the rest of the team around that with not trying to trade off if Guardian does get picked off right from the beginning.
I'm really interested to see what Pronax is going to be bringing to the table in terms of tactics, because I mean, if you're going to win this match, if you're going to cause an upset against Navi on train, it's got to be by some kind of tactical outplay.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that, but it looks like we are just counting down here to get into this matchup between Navi and GODSENT. So you heard the predictions on the desk, Moses. Are you going to agree with Navi?
Yeah, I don't think you can logically go away from Navi in this matchup. I think they're going to have a pretty comfortable time here, but once again, if Pronax is able to pull out some kind of surprise, some kind of trick, some counter tactic that, I mean, he's been known for some creative strategies, so
I'd absolutely agree with that. But anyway, here comes the charge through Ivy. GODSENT going to be sending 4 players up there. The bomb actually traversing its way through towards B, so maybe trying to fake this one out so Pronax can get himself onto that site and get it planted. But Navi are just locking this down. Edward with one use and seized both with frags. Now it leaves us all with the bomb carrier, the aforementioned Pronax. And he has managed to snake his way through onto the bomb site here, Moses, so he's going to get the bomb planted at least.
That's about all you can hope for, because Edward, Starks, and Zeus, that is a sick outplay, just straight up rushing towards the backside. All 3 of them working together to clear that out, and now it's just Pronax. So he's already done a lot by just getting that bomb planted. He gets that extra bonus money for the plant, but I mean, nothing really coming from that whatsoever. Navi completely counters that.
Absolutely. Easy defuse in the end. So now GODSENT have a decision to make. Do they want to save up for the AKs? Do they want to save up for the nades or just try and charge in and maybe catch Navi off guard here?
I think you do save up for the AK-47s. I think I mean, especially without Guardian in the mix, I think you try and get those AK-47s out. You know you're not going to be going out in AWP, but they're going to go for the Force Buy in the second round. So they are going to go for the Tech 9 armor. And look at all the utility coming out as well. Smokes, Molotovs, plenty of options for them to be able to execute any kind of tactic that they want.
And this may harken back to what you mentioned before, if Pronax is just trying to catch Navi off, just trying to do things that maybe they're not expecting. And it is looking as though with all those smokes, a set play could be coming in, although it is going to be delayed.
Yeah, just slowed down a little bit. And it does, I mean, with all these Molotovs on the Terra side, you got to think this is, you know, one of the advantages you can have if you do get that bomb plant at the inner site. You can use all these Molotovs to just throw them one by one on top of the bomb, prevent the defuse, run the clock down. No kits on the Navi side, so if GODSENT is able to get into this inner site, that would actually be huge if they could, you know, just run the clock down on that bomb fire by just covering it in fire.
Certainly would appear to be the plan thus far. No early confrontation, not a single point of HP other than Palfa has been lost. Obviously smoking behind him, maybe trying to bait out a couple of players to come down the stairs, but for now, neither team really budging. Here comes Flamey, though. He should be getting the drop. But actually gets picked off from Schneider. That's a huge frag, not just the sense that B is now ripe for the taking, but that's a free weapon across the GODSENT as well.
Yeah, and C's is the one here. He's got no nades whatsoever. Actually, the entire Navi side is running out of utility, and GODSENT with that pick, they could slow things down. Edwards made the right call. Rotating over, though, close with his shotgun. He'll be able to do some damage.
There he is with the Max 7. That flashbang wrecking 2 or 3 players. Finally gets his man of Lecro and is able to pull himself back to the site. 2 frags for him, looking for a third one. Can't get it done. And that could very well signify the bomb getting planted here from GODSENT. It was Pal's Tech 9 that answered back with a vengeance. And now the M4 could really start to hurt Navi. Seized has came in though. But they do expect Pronax to be from behind with this Tech 9. He's going to get the drop on at least one player. Zeus is down to 21. He's going to return fire, and now it's on Schneider. Here comes the Molotov onto the site. That could deter a couple of the players, but actually, I believe they're just holding on to this one. Indeed, they are. The molly was slightly off, and Starks will have the defuse. 2-0 Navi.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, that Molotov missing, but good opportunity there for GODSENT to do a little bit more damage. Actually, it's Edward, that smart rotation. It looked like he wanted to have a jump on the flank by maybe going up ladder, but he just reads it really, really well once that first kill comes in. Now we've got the op out on Starks, and this round for GODSENT is just going to be a save. So no armor coming out, some P250s bought up, a flashbang on Electro, and that's about all they're going to bring to the table. Shotgun still alive in C's hands, the UMP as well on Zeus, so chances to get a little bit more bonus money, build up some bank for the defense.
Yeah, we're wondering if Starks was going to take the AWP. Indeed, he has. Going to be just filling in directly.
Yeah, and C's here. I mean, look how aggressive this is. He does find the kill. He gets dinked down to 7 HP, though. That P250 doing the work. Lekro's able to trade it off, but Na'Vi still gets aggressive behind this.
They do indeed. They get the avenging frag in with just 2 P250s with no Kevlar behind it. It's not looking too great for GODSENT. Any frags from here are going to be a nice bonus, but it's not going to happen. And as expected, Na'Vi tramped towards a 3-0 very convincingly so far.
Here's where it gets interesting, though, because now Starks, he does have the op, like we mentioned, but it's going to be in the gun round. So how effective is he going to be when these executes come out towards that outer bomb site, when all the smokes and the flashbangs are raining through the sky, when the Molotovs are in place behind the trains? Is he going to be able to maneuver well enough to be effective with that AWP?
Well, Zeus keeping the UMP had, I believe, just shy of $8,000 to spend, so clearly going to be trying to take a cheeky frag. Without Schneider, without that Kevlar, he is definitely a prime suspect.
Here's the danger. Look at Starks. He's pushed up towards Ivy, so he's actually got a lot of intel. No one from GODSENT is there.
Lekro, though, he's gone right through, but he's going to get picked off from the aforementioned UMP, so definitely worthwhile keeping on to that one. Cease is going to go on to Schneider as well. It's gone horribly wrong for GODSENT, who saved up the last round to get a solid buy in this one. And Na'Vi looking like they could just steamroll and only lose the one player. There is Starks with the AWP.
Yeah, great round from Zeus, from Starks, 2 kills from him, but a couple of those smokes, there was a crack underneath one they were able to spray through, find a kill. So the execution comes out for GODSENT, but so many kills are found by Na'Vi at range. There's actually no pressure whatsoever on that bomb site. Part of that is Starks gets aggressive towards Ivy, and like I mentioned, he got so much intel, but there was no presence there from GODSENT, so Na'Vi had all this information. Everyone outside could focus on those main choke points. They didn't have to worry about anyone flanking through Ivy.
Yeah, and it has been a complete shutout performance as well after 4-0. Only 5 kills in total from GODSENT. Everyone chiming in with 1 kill, so no one really stepping things up. Here comes Seized with a very different SMG. This is the MP9, and 2 kills for him. Pronax all that remains.
Yeah, smoking 2 flashes, but I mean, that utility goes to waste, so you can't really do too much with it, and Starks is going to find that one. I believe I just saw, it was HLTV that just tweeted out, this is his first LAN match since, like 13 months. I think it was Katowice 2015. Yeah.
Got to get rid of that rust.
Right. Hopping in. I mean, at least he's been with this team. He knows the tactics. He knows how they like to play and everything. He can fit right in, but he has a little bit of rust, although he is 5-0 at the moment. Hasn't fallen yet.
Double up setup for GODSENT, so maybe going for a bit of a desperation play, seeing as nothing else has really worked thus far for them. Still at MP9 persists for Na'Vi. I'm just not sure I could see this double up really doing much more. Is this because the CTs have been playing fairly passive here? Na'Vi haven't been going for a great deal other than the SMG pushes, so is this double up setup even going to work?
Well, maybe one of the areas they think that it can work is saying that without Guardian, the AWP is where they could have an advantage against Starks, against that player who hasn't been playing very much recently. Although he's been very mobile. Last round he was pushing down Ivy. This round he's playing towards the inner bomb site. He's pushed up towards box hall, so it's going to be a little bit difficult for GODSENT to read where exactly he's playing. So he's giving himself a good chance to at least find some opening kills.
He sure is. Again, GODSENT though playing this one slow and steady thus far. Obviously with the double AWPs, you want to be trying to get that early pick and convert it into a bomb plant. But to be fair to Na'Vi, they're not really giving anything away here, just playing it smart. They still have plenty of utility to fall back on. Couple smokes, 3 incendiaries as well. And now Schneider decides that maybe this is the moment to try and strike. But again, Moses, 45 seconds left, and GODSENT really haven't done too much to get any real estate thus far.
Yeah, no damage has been dealt. No one wants to challenge from GODSENT or Na'Vi. I mean, Navi's content in this situation to just sit very, very far back. There it is, Starks with the opening shot, but Edward's going to find the first kill. He gets traded off, so now the hit towards the center bomb site is on, but Cease has a great position for a quick flank.
Absolutely, and this is where the double AWPs start to struggle as well when you're trying to burst onto a site. That entry fragging potential is far weakened as opposed to an AK-47. And this was always going to be the problem, the SMG close range from Cease, doming Pronax, and Lekro is going to get a frag back. That could very well get them.
Well, the bomb's down in ladder room, so Cease is up the top, and
point,
yeah, and there's going to be no bomb plant in this. So Schneider and Twist, the 2 AWPers, they haven't taken a point of damage. They haven't even gotten aggressive. It doesn't look like whatsoever. And Twist's position was actually almost like a lurk. Only 1 shot used by Schneider. I don't know how many Twists sent out, but those AWPs on the T side. I mean, you said it. You didn't know if it was going to be effective, and they barely have any impact or any presence whatsoever on the map.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's a lot of money as well to invest in something that gets you absolutely nothing.
I guess the good news is they at least save both of them, so they can try another crack of this round at number 7. But it is a much healthier buy from Na'Vi as well. This time there's going to be no MP9 in the play. It's going to be AKs and the M4 alongside Starix's AWP. And a similar setup as well from Na'Vi. Nothing different. If it ain't broke, why fix it? GODSENT have not been able to get through into these sites so far.
This time, at least, Pronax has pushed out. He's over towards the blue train, and he's trying to find a shot, trying to lurk this a little bit. But he's going to get smoked and forced back, so not being very aggressive, not finding anything with that early on, so Na'Vi at least sustains. There's an opening pick, though. There's finally the op from Schneider, fakes out seized.
What are they going to do with that opening pick, though? Zeus is seemingly going to be playing fairly aggressive as a result, trying to use that smoke to screen his push, but GODSENT sensed that one. They're going to just be backing away, looking to relocate towards the B site.
That opening kill, they have over a minute, so obviously there's a lot of time that Na'Vi has to figure out what's happening, but it looks like Na'Vi says, okay, we got the opening kill. That's going to be a support player from the B bomb site who's now pulled away, so it is only going to be one player isolated there. But look at the read. Zeus is pushed up. Starix and Edward are already rotating over towards this B bomb site. GODSENT is just getting outplayed across the map right now.
Absolutely. They have the player advantage, but when you look at the crossfire that's being set up from Na'Vi, this is a trap that GODSENT could very well just walk straight into. And meanwhile, Zeus is getting so much information. He's coming up around the back for his 30 seconds. If GODSENT don't get a move on, they're going to get absolutely wrecked, and that's exactly what happens. Two frags come back to back, and it's looking like it's going to go a whole lot worse for GODSENT. They lost another couple players. It's all on Schneider. First frags landed from him. 20 seconds, though. He does at least have the bomb, but he must know that Zeus is just behind him. And be constantly second-guessing himself. Just going to hold the bomb and get the plant. But with the AWP, can he get anything done from here? Spot Zeus. And it looks like he's going to get picked off. So Na'Vi, very well played. Rotating, locking down B, and then Zeus going for the information grabbing.
Yeah, I mean, that play from Zeus to just push up like that gets him so much intel. Once the rotation comes out on the minimap, you just knew it was going to be a disaster from GODSENT. The big thing is that opening pick from GODSENT comes out with about 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. They didn't hit the inner bomb site until 30 seconds. So there's all that time where they've given up map control. They've given up their positions towards the mid-terrace choke point, towards Ivy. They've brought everyone towards the inner site and done nothing. So Na'Vi just feels no pressure. And they have 40 seconds with which to rotate into position at that inner site. So GODSENT just gets crushed there on that hit.
One saving grace, of course, for the T's is always the CT economy, right? But when you have two players in Starix and Zeus who've yet to die, their bank balance is so high that there are no easy rounds for the foreseeable future for GODSENT.
Yeah, we saw Na'Vi using SMGs well into like the 5th round, but hold that thought, because Poffa's going to push right down the lower ramp, and Flamey finds him. That's an easy kill. No one there for a trade either. That's a very isolated one-on-one.
Kind of confusing, I guess, just trying to feel out Na'Vi, seeing if they had more of an A-centric stack, but of course you can have at least a player on B. That seemed like a bit of a misplay to me, maybe just getting a bit desperate here. It's not as if they don't have weapons either. It's not as if this is a pistol round. They're just going for the Hail Mary play. They have AKs, they have the utility. They've lost the second player, make it a third as well, and Na'Vi in cruise control.
Yeah, they're winning all the battles in terms of skill. They're winning strategically. It's a tough situation to be in. There's a little bit of life out of Schneider finding Zeus. That opens things up, at least initially. The bomb is dropped towards the inner site, though. Even if they try and get out Terra's choke point, they have to go back inside to grab that bomb. Twist is on his way there right now. Navi's not guarding it whatsoever. I don't think they pushed up that far, but still, there's 40 seconds left in a 2-on-3, and Edward's already reading towards the inner bomb site.
Yeah, just playing the sweeper role at this point. Edward can quickly dart between both sites in the connector. Meanwhile, it is going to be Flamey there by himself. He's already bagged himself 2 kills this round. And again, GODSENT are really playing with fire here. They've got 20 seconds to get onto the site, dethrone Flamey, and get this bomb planted, and Flamey with the spray. Pixel perfect twist is going to fall on Schneider. Again, we've been here before. Last time it was with an AWP, this time the AK-47, but time is against him. Effectively a 1v4 in that sense, but he is going to go down 8-0. Na'Vi looking pretty much flawless. Yeah,
Flamey with 4 kills that round, grabs the opening one, and then when he's in that 1-on-2 towards the inner side, he gets the first kill and just falls away, just lives, waits for his teammates to get there. Ensures essentially that there's no way that GODSENT can win that round in that situation. So smart play from Flamey, and Navi's just running away with it.
So another full force in from GODSENT. It's going to include a Tech-9 and a Galil. A distinct lack of grenades, though, and maybe that is going to call for more aggressive play. Schneider's already out of the T main. The rest of his team, the bulk of the aggression from GODSENT is over towards B again, and it's Flamey who has been one of the standout players thus far for Na'Vi. So you expect him to get this locked down. His partner in crime, though, has been picked up. Here comes Flamey, the double spray down. In effect, looking for a third. Very nearly gets it, but does knock that player down to 23, which is Pronax. However, the rest of the battlefield has gone against Na'Vi, so now Starix in a 1 versus 2. Both players a shot from Def, though, from that CZ, which is his sidearm. He's going to trade out for the M4 anyway. He's got himself a couple flashes and the kit as well, so you definitely expect he's got a really solid chance at pulling this one off, and he just got a whole lot better. Now it's the guessing game. Where does he think that Schneider's currently residing? Unbeknownst to him, just behind him up the ramp. He's going to try and fake him out with the smoke. Schneider did fall for that one, but Starks is looking towards Connector.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That had to have been a sound mix-up. Unsure where that came from, but he thought he would have been looking that way. Maybe he thought he already got out behind the train and was going to make a path up sidewalk, but almost able to win that one on 2. But finally GODSENT on the board. They got a little bit fortunate because they actually sent so many members towards box halls. They had like 3 or 4 people spamming through the smoke, so you could see Na'Vi actually cheats the rotation right into that execution. So I actually thought Na'Vi was just once again going to crush the inner bomb site. But this time GODSENT at least picks up the pace, because when they've gone slow, Na'Vi's just been able to outplay him so hard that nothing's going to work for him. So you almost think at this point GODSENT's got to try and change the tempo, consistently be a little bit faster, use the smokes, use flashbangs, try and have some kind of confusion that goes your way in the outer yard.
Ooh, Starks almost spoiled for choice there as 3 players peeked him at the same moment. That grenade, as he fades away, does do significant damage to Pronax. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think one of the strengths of GODSENT really is that they have a lot of players like Twist and Palf in particular who are incredibly talented individually, but we haven't really seen that cohesion come in so far, and they're just getting torn to pieces again in this round.
Yeah, and there's once again, I mean, they're very fortunate that Lekro finds that kill through the smoke, because that was once again an attempt at an entry through a smoke. We saw Flamey handle it towards the inner bomb site previously, but Pronax just pop flashing himself through, and there's no chance for a trade in that scenario. So they're very, very lucky that Lekro gets that kill at spam through the smoke, but now C's just pushed up towards the box halls at the inner bomb site, so he's got good intel. This is allowing Na'Vi to keep 3 members at the outer yard, and Zeus in this position can be very difficult to clear out. They do have 2 Molotovs. He's got a lot of mobility here and a lot of teamwork to back him up, team play to back him up.
And additionally, on top of that, Moses, the time is ticking down, so that's going to force GODSENT into a play very shortly, and that could be into the embracing arms of Edward, who is waiting on the site, looking towards Pop Dog. He has spotted a couple players going across. It starts, that opens up, E-Box gets flashed and pretty much wrecks the initial charge from the 3 players, and it's just business as usual from Na'Vi, as again they clear it up with ease, 9-1. And GODSENT, where has he got now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good question. They better start praying, because, I mean, that execution in the late round, no smokes at the bomb train. You could see these ops at range are just able to have, you know, it's just nothing to stop him, nothing to slow him down. And then Zeus was never pressured in this position. He could just bide his time, wait, find some easy kills to the side. And now GODSENT, it almost feels like they know they need rounds more than they can afford to save, because they've already 4-spot here. Although all they have is pistols and armor. They have some utility to use, but all 5 members going towards the center site, so they're at least going to try and pressure Cease early on. He's got an AWP. They could overwhelm him if Cease missed this opening shot, but that's not going to happen.
Cease has been on point here. Him and Starx with these double-up setups have been locking down the site, and it seems like aggression is the best course for GODSENT, but that's walking into Flamey again, and he is going to dispatch them with haste. 3 kills. He's going to get picked off from behind. No, actually, Edward is there. Even though C's went down to 3 HP, he'll be thanking his teammate there for 10-1 lead. And GODSENT, what do you say here, Moses? I mean, if you're on their TS, whatever, what do you say to try and perk them up a little bit?
I think you take a pause here, and you just say, all right, we need at least 3 rounds in this half. Let's just go for that. Let's see what we can get. I really do think, I don't like the slow pace they're coming up with. It hasn't worked for them this whole half. The one round they won is a faster pace towards the inner side. I think they do need to start speeding things up. But I mean, this was always going to be a tough map for GODSENT to beat Na'Vi on this train. So I mean, you can't be too upset if you're on the GODSENT side, especially considering they're one of the better teams just on every map in general. Like, no matter what map you played them on, it was going to be tough. But you try and get a little bit of life here at the end to see if you can go at some kind of run on the CT side.
Well, there's 4 Glocks, no utility to speak of whatsoever. GODSENT are going to have to go in here raw, and you have to feel it's going to be a bit painful for them. Nothing that Na'Vi really need to do. They don't need to change anything up. The bait is going to be Lacros. He misses a 2nd shot, but as I mentioned, it should just be an absolute slow. They do at least get the bomb plant, which is a bit of a silver lining over that very dark cloud that's looming overhead. And with the molly landing as well, it's going to delay the defuse, but it does come in anyway. And that's going to be another round for Na'Vi.
Well, Twist thinks he's going to get away with this AWP, and Starks, oh, he misses the shot. Tries to go for the pistol, and he is going to be able to find it, so just at the end, Twist was just pretty pumped to get away with that gun, and not going to happen. So just one more way in which Na'Vi is just beating up on GODSENT at the moment.
The thing is, it's all well and good getting the bomb plant, but at this kind of stage of the game, the currency that matters at the top of your screen, which reads very poorly for GODSENT. So you just got to start converting some of these rounds right here, right now.
This is their last chance, and this is where they need to start stringing these rounds together. At least get 4. So hopefully can string together these last 3, but nothing's worked out for them. A lot of reliance on Twist, I think, with this AWP, because their executes haven't been very effective against Na'Vi. So they got to hope that they can find an opening pick and find some way to get a better read on where to go than Na'Vi.
The depressing thing for GODSENT here is you're expecting Palf and Twist to be pulling their weight. Between the two of them, they have 3 frags. Palf has 1. After 12 rounds, that is brutal.
Yeah, that certainly doesn't help anything. Twist does get 1 here. The big issue is they've just been so outplayed as a team, it's hard to find these individual kills. A good trade there from Edward. Now Twist in the smoke goes for a little bit of a fancy no-scope. But still, no great read. That's a nice pop flash. Palf is able to find that one. Starks is going to be so far away from this B bomb site. It's going to get hit. It's going to be Edward who's got to hold this off as long as possible.
This is a real chance for GODSENT, one they desperately need to grasp with both hands. And the bomb has now been planted. With a 2-man retake and Starix being a little out of position, he's going to have to scurry his way across. This is vital time that is ticking down. But of course, with the changes, there is much more time for Na'Vi to play with in this retake scenario. The question now, though, is can GODSENT hold form? Can they stop this push? They still have an incendiary, so that should be thrown onto the site. That's going to buy them some time, but there is a smoke in the hands of Starix, which can instantly extinguish that. Meanwhile, a frag's coming in. Starix with 2 P250 kills. What is going on for GODSENT? This was a must-needed round, and because the smoke has gone down, it's going to get diffused as well. GODSENT, guys,
nothing's going their way at the moment. That's crushing that Starks is able to get those 2 kills with a pistol. Even finding the player beneath him. And that is a retake, you're exactly right. That should never slip away from their grasp. They had all the positioning.
How does Starks just come in with a P250 and insta-headshot 2 players? How does that even happen if your crossfire is down?
He's top fragging right now. He's 16-2. This is a guy who hasn't played a professional tournament games in over a year. So not a bad performance he's putting in right now. He even got an auto sniper out. Starks with 1 more and a second. Starks, there's no rust here. He's playing fantastic.
Yeah, we're curious about that one. He's certainly been the standout player thus far. Flamey's had a couple of huge rounds as well on the B side, and he continues to mow them down. So he's the auto sniper, rubbing salt in the gaping wounds of GODSENT, and it looks as though this match is all but done.
You can see just the smile on their face. He doesn't even, yeah, he's just like, all right, I'll just hop in here, have a good time. Why not? And look at this shot. Very nice flick. This second one was very, very swift. Ready for that angle. Pronax falls 1-13. This is a very shoddy buy as well. 3 ops and an auto sniper for Na'Vi at the moment. Maybe that's what they're laughing about. They're just like, all right, now we're going to execute everything we've wanted.
Yeah, you often see this in the last round of the half if one team has been dominant, team spy at the ops, and they've probably got assault rifles back at spawn that can trade out if needs be. That being said, here comes the rough 5 charging through. Twist with the UMP. He's going to make it working. Now has the auto sniper in his hands, but not for long. Grenade will meet him from Seast, Edward from behind, and, well, we've seen this before. GODSENT have had chances in this matchup. It's not like they've been shut out every single round, but they've really failed to convert any of these opportunities into rounds themselves. Here we go. Maybe this is the moment. Flamey with the AWP is going to be coming in. But we've seen this a couple rounds ago, and they threw that one away, and it looks like this could be more of the same. The problem is with Train, though, there's so many angles you have to watch out for. Pronax could be in one of several positions, and, well, Flamey went looking, and he gets caught from behind.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? There's just so many different spots that you could play in a one-on-one like that, and Flamey had no idea where Pronax was going to be, no concept of where he possibly could be. So finally, GODSENT is able to take advantage of a heavy sniper buy from Na'Vi. 3 AWPs, that auto sniper doesn't pan out for him. But what a ridiculous first half from Na'Vi.
What can you say about that? You've got Starks and Flamey both with 18 frags. Starks ends with 18 for 3. The guy that's stepping in, you're thinking, is he going to show? Is he going to have issues? Is he going to be the potential weakness to exploit a Na'Vi? Well, no, is the simple answer to that question.
Well, and we also mentioned, I mean, the best way that GODSENT was going to be able to come into this match was going to be some kind of tactical outplay or tactical plan that they had in place from Pronax, and actually Na'Vi just kind of counterplayed them that whole half. I mean, the amount of times they had a jump on a rotation towards that inner site, you know, a jump on a read in one of those rounds that just completely decimated anything GODSENT wanted to do, absolutely insane. So So GODSENT, I mean, really, really struggling here, obviously, in that first half. And now, I mean, they do go to the easier side, but Na'Vi on Train is one of the best T-side, or is the best T-side Train team in the world.
Certainly right up there. And, I mean, any mistakes that GODSENT make, that's it. It's over. It's GG.
Even when they don't make mistakes, you just see some of the plays that Na'Vi has, and that they're able to get back into the game no matter what. So this is going to be a rough half, or a rough rest of the match.
Oh, it's a must-win pistol round. That goes without saying. So Pronax is going to land the first one. They don't check the side twist with 2. This is looking much better for GODSENT. It's hard to get too carried away, though, when there's such a huge mountain for them to climb. And that will leave Starix all that remains with the Glock. No Kevlar either. Yeah,
very nice bait and switch setup over towards Ivy. Pronax gets the first kill, and then Twist is able to just kind of hide. You're exactly right. Na'Vi doesn't clear their corner, so they get punished. So at least this first pistol round, or the second pistol round, is going to go the way of GODSENT. But I mean, even the second round, third round, of when these Deagles and these Tech 9s come out, it's going to be very, very difficult to handle. And then, I mean, the real test is when the AKs and the AWP gets out for Na'Vi.
That's exactly it. And because there's such a huge deficit that GODSENT needs to bounce back from, it's almost like a war of attrition for Na'Vi. If they can keep just plugging away, taking some weapons away here and there, eventually the CT economy will catch up with you.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Na'Vi never had to worry about in the first half, was they never had pressure economically. They had every buy that they wanted to get. You know, they never were running low on money. They had all the nades. They could always rebuy the AWPs even if they lost somebody. So GODSENT here is going to have to build up a huge bank at these next 2 rounds to be able to survive some of the storms that Na'Vi throws at them.
Yeah, it's going to have to take a page out of the book from Na'Vi and keep some of those SMGs in play and hopefully get that farm in effect. Pronax and Palf running with them here. Also a scout from Lacro.
Got to imagine that smoke missed from Pronax. I think it landed in between the 2 dumpsters. So just continuing the pain.
Oh, so painful. However, Na'Vi really don't have a great deal into this round, so it very likely won't bounce back to haunt them. Just a flash and a smoke and a stack outside. Again, this is looking like it could be a fake. Take the bomb carrier towards B, try and get that bomb planted for a better buy in the next round.
It almost looks like it'd be a double fake, where C's is going to throw smoke flash, Starks is going to go out to his death, and then the 3 towards Ivy are going to hit, and then C's is going to follow up with the bomb after Starks and all of his teammates in Ivy have died.
Starks has fallen down. Still that bomb is traversing through. So yeah, exactly as you called it, Moses. That seems to be what's coming to fruition right now. And you can see the only player that's on B is Palf. He's got the UMP. Not the greatest weapon at range. And now the bomb is going to be getting planted on the site. So Na'Vi have pretty much accomplished the mission they set for themselves.
Yep, that's all they wanted, was that 1 bomb plant. Minimal investment as well, so not too bad from Na'Vi. The double fake works out to at least get the plant. No one falls on GODSENT's side, though. They do get Palf with that UMP, gets 2 kills, the bonus money coming into play, but here comes the buy from Na'Vi with that planting. They're able to get the AK-47s. How much utility would they have behind this? Right now, it's 4 smokes, a couple flashbangs to work with, and that's going to be about it. Edward can buy up a little bit more, I believe.
Yeah, he has $500.
But he's not going to.
Interesting.
Maybe it could be for this particular tactic he doesn't need to throw anything.
That's very true. The $500 could very well work for them in the future. But if they can just batter down onto GODSENT, that may not even be required. Pronax is going to be pushing through the smoke to his demise. Executed from Seized. Palf did at least get a frag just beforehand, but that 1-4 trade is, of course, going to favor Na'Vi. And it's just got a whole lot worse. Seized opens up on Ivy. And now Na'Vi have options with the bomb actually dropped towards Team Main.
Yeah, now Zeus is making a very aggressive lurk towards the center bomb site because Palf has fallen all the way back. Starks is going to be wrapping around. That'll be a challenge against Palf, and Starks is going to win it. Quick headshot, and there's Flamey as well. GODSENT is trying to find any kind of information by getting aggressive in some of these choke points. It's been punished, but it's at least down to a 1-on-2. Lekker's got an opportunity here against Zeus. But he's not going to be able to win that one. So 14th round for Na'Vi. As soon as the AK-47s come out on the board, Na'Vi's able to get back to their winning ways. And now this is the huge round. This is the match. If GODSENT can't win this one, then they're going to be back on pistols for the next. And you got to imagine that's just going to be a straight-up Na'Vi victory.
Absolutely. That is pretty much exactly what faces GODSENT at this point. And you can see even in this round, Moses, this is not a great buy. They got a Mag 7, the Deagle. We've seen crazy things happen with these weapons before, but Na'Vi have just looked so dominant so far.
Here's the play. Aggressive towards Ivy. Pronax is going to push that smoke. That time it lands, and he finds an angle, but a shotgun opens up onto Edward. It's all about what can Pronax do here, because if he falls, that's the equalizing frag for Na'Vi.
He was in a similar position last time around, but he's going to get the drop onto Flamey. That flashbang not quite paying out for the tease. Zeus, though, answers back. And with that frag onto B, that is going to force one of the A defenders in the form of Palf to go across. That leaves A a little bit more vulnerable. However, that being said, if they did charge through right now, it would be a 2-on-3 in the favor of the CTs. This is another opportunity for GODSENT.
And all of Na'Vi was initially just very spread out across the map. They still have Zeus towards the inner bomb site. 2 members from Na'Vi are going to group up Starks and C's over towards Ivy. So those two are going to work together to find some kind of kill. This smoke that comes out towards Ivy is just kind of to block any intel from Pronax. That might force a rotation. They want to force some mobility in this defense, see if they can pick someone off trying to get to a new position.
The other worrying fact for Na'Vi is that they are starting to run out of utility as well. No smokes in anyone's hands means just 2 flashes in the molly they have to explode onto a site with. There's going to have to be that raw entry fragging power that comes to the forefront. 30 seconds to play with. Na'Vi now have to get a move on. They're going to be trying to pince around from Ivy and T-Main. Here comes the charge. Schneider in a very good position up on the train. If he just looks down to his left-hand side, he'll have it all done for him. There's the first kill. Starks does get the kill just beforehand, and that's going to be all she wrote for Na'Vi in round 19. Well played from GODSENT, but again, the pressure is continually applied. There is no respite for them here.
That's why I'm kind of curious. I know Na'Vi has a lot of rounds to play with, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him buy up into this round, at least a half investment as these Tech 9s come out, because they know the economy is weak. You know they've forced some rebuys, some drops over to teammates. If they can keep up that economic pressure, you called it almost like a war of attrition, a grind. Well, one of the winning factors for Na'Vi is if they can eventually just beat up the money so much that GODSENT can't afford all the smokes or all the Molotovs that they need, all the kits, and win that way later on in this half. But only 2 rounds to go for Na'Vi, so not even close to panic mode just yet.
And they nearly got there to break in the economy when we saw the Mag 7, the Deagle come to play. They just couldn't quite pull the trigger. They couldn't put that final nail in the coffin of GODSENT, but still in such a good position. Go for the half buy. You've got Tech 9s, a couple of Kevlars thrown in the mix as well. Here come the flashes. One of the first times we've seen a straight-up play onto A very aggressively. Schneider will land the headshot onto Zeus, who's looking for the cheeky plant through the smoke. And this is looking like a dominant round for GODSENT. One of the few that we've seen from them. Unless C's can pull off a miraculous play, this is going to be GODSENT getting it back to an 8-round deficit.
And they absolutely needed that. If all 5 members survive, they can build up some money. This time they're not dropping anything over. Schneider's having a very good game. He's at 16 and 14. He's the only positive member on the GODSENT side. Pronax is just beneath him at 12 and 15. And again, Na'Vi's going to have a round where they don't really invest too much. You do see some Deagles coming out, 3 of them at the moment. No utility, so they're just relying 100% on Zeus, Edward, Flamey. One of these guys, actually even seized by the Deagle there at the end, but one of these guys has to find a pick with this Deagle to open something up.
So be the one taps coming in, and Zeus is not going to get anything done from his perspective. That being said, though, the bulk of the aggression right now is going through Ivy. You can go for those pre-fire shots with the Deagle. Just going at head height. That's exactly what Flamey was looking for. Couldn't quite land it, though. Goes in for seconds. Again, is going to be repelled. As will Na'Vi by the looks of things. But they're going to try and switch it up now. With Palf being up there in upper onto B, a lot of information is across in the hands of the CTs.
Well, you can see they don't have to rotate anyone over, because even if he sees action, it's so far away from the bomb site that they'll at least have time to rotate over before that bomb gets planted. So he's got a pretty advanced position. Now he even spots one running away, so even more so they can be confident to just stay at that outer bomb site. And in a 5-on-2, all they have to worry about is just a couple picks from these Deagles, so Edward and Stark's going to try and find battles at range, but the rifles for GODSENT are at least winning out in this round.
Kind of expected coming into this round it would end this way, but again, GODSENT, you know, they're not losing weapons. They're keeping that bank balance ticking forward. That's exactly one of their keys to success here. And are going to win another nearly flawless round, keeping all 5 players alive.
Although now here's the true test, because the first round that GODSENT lost, they had you know, some SMGs, they had a shotgun, they didn't have all 5 at rifles. So this is a chance here for Na'Vi to really test what this defense is going to provide. Once these execute come out from Na'Vi, these smokes on the bomb site, the Molotovs behind trains, flashbangs in the air, is GODSENT going to be able to, still a very new team and against one of the best T-sided teams on train, are they going to be able to be coordinated enough?
Looks as though they may be trying to fight fire with fire by pushing aggressively onto B. They've got 3 players situated here. Realizing this could be a full-on AK buy, which very likely would after 2 ecos. They go for the aggression. They have the 2 tag teams in effect. And have got a 2-for-1 trade in their favor. That being said, they have lost a player over on the A side. That forces the remaining CTs to try and funnel away over that.
That's a smart play from GODSENT, though. One of the ways they can get the advantage, catching Na'Vi off guard, not prepared for that kind of a push. 3 members stacked up there. And a very nice bait just for that player at upper to peek out. And now they have really, really good positioning because they forced Na'Vi to fall back to waste a lot of time clearing out these white halls towards box halls. You can see Schneider's about to see some action here.
Just toing and throwing around the box, trying to get some information. He's going to be pulling out that flashbang. He's going to go for the peek afterwards. It's looking likely here. If he times this one right, it should be 2 frags for himself. But if he gets caught with that flash out, he's a dead man, and indeed he will be. I thought he may have spotted one of those players on the cross, but clearly not. And after GODSENT had such a good start with those opening 2 picks up ramp, it's gone horribly wrong. That being said, they can still navigate away from the rocks.
Yeah, Na'Vi doesn't want to hit this bomb site anymore. They're going to fall away from it. Or at least readjust which choke point they're going to come out of. 25 seconds left. Spam through the smoke does damage on the Flamey. He's going to try and entry into this bomb site. There's one on top of the train far back and over towards high trade. So Flamey takes a lot of damage, but it's Starix who chimes in with a good headshot.
Oh, surely not again, GODSENT. You're thinking they can retake this site, they can stop that bomb from being planted, but Starix just steps up, dispatches them with haste, and Flamey's there. You can see they're very happy about that retake and have every right to be. 15-7, GODSENT will be gutted after that round.
Yeah, and this timeout, I'm not sure what exactly this is going to do for GODSENT. But either way, what a round from Starix. The first kill was nice, the second kill was better. He's just been a force to be reckoned with in this matchup. He's still sitting at the top, 23-9 on him. That's an incredible performance for a guy who's just stepping in for one of the best players in the world.
Absolutely. What a performance. You know, so much pressure must have been on his shoulders to perform. You're thinking, okay, Fnatic aren't here, they had to pull out. Maybe this is Na'Vi's chance. A lot of people were talking about Luminosity being able to get back-to-back events, but if he continues to play like this, although let's be real as well, GODSENT aren't the greatest team here.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
The question is, can he perform to this level when he's against the likes of Astralis, when he's against the likes of Luminosity?
I highly doubt it. But, I mean, this is still just a very, very good showing. At least gives you some promise that he'll be able to at least hold his own. He's not going to be as dominant as he is right now, but maybe able to compete. Once again, Pronax has been heavily aggressive towards Ivy this whole time. His defense has been predicated on him denying control of Ivy to the terrorist side.
Ooh. Nice frag. Does he expect the second player in the smoke? He goes back in. He's going to get him caught and does get teased. It was looking so sketchy for a few seconds that wasn't sure he'd be able to get the second kill. Another solid round for GODSENT, though. Yeah, this aggression is really catching Na'Vi off guard, and with how slow-paced they are, that's essentially what that's designed to prevent, is that early damage in these rounds, but it's not working out here. As you say, though, Pronax continually going for those Ivy pushes. Eventually, that is going to get red from Na'Vi, and it just takes one time Pronax to die first, and everything comes crumbling down. So, it's going forward. Yes, Na'Vi are in a 4v2. You've seen them clutch rounds in this kind of position before. That being said, Starix is not alive anymore. Just last round, in fact. That's exactly what they did, was come back into a round just like this. At least Edward gets one, but it's traded off by Pronax. He's now got 3 kills in the round. Really, really good stuff from him over towards Ivy initially, but now he's rotated back. Flamey is the last one they've got to find, and now they know where he is. 35 seconds as well on the timer. Flamey does not have the bomb. There's Palf, puts him out of his misery. And it seems that GODSENT do bounce right back. Falas with frags as well. Palf with 2, Pronax with 3. So it's a good sign for GODSENT if Palf can start to find some form here alongside Twist. Again, at one point, they had like 3 kills between the two of them after, I think, 11 rounds. Yeah, it came alive a little bit here towards the second half and the end of the first half, but Na'Vi hasn't been able to string 2 terrorist rounds together. This is actually a pretty solid defense out of GODSENT at the moment. But I mean, Na'Vi's still going to be loving this because they've been so close to winning this match this whole time. Now they're at 15, doesn't matter. No more mistakes for GODSENT. At a certain point, Na'Vi is just going to punish this play from Pronax. Exactly. They're going to say, all right, please keep doing this. Yep. It's kind of what we were alluding to before. It's not necessarily gimmicky, but it becomes very predictable if he continues to do that. And as you say, the defense is almost predicated on him getting at least a kill and then pulling himself back out of Ivy and kind of relocating and getting a crossfire set down. So it just takes 1 round for him to die. And I feel like the defense could very well just be ripe for the taking. I might find it here. Pronax, he's not going to spot C's through the smoke on top of the trash cans, and there's the punish. That doesn't force too many changes in the rotation. There's still 3 members very much centered around the connector and a 4th one in outback. So GODSENT doesn't really move even though Pronax fell. Now they're starting to shift just a little bit. Na'Vi playing the mind games, not really giving anything away. They don't have smokes to burst onto a site where they do have the solo flashbang in hands of Seized, also has the M4 to his name. And here we go, the B play is imminent. The flash is going to be going over towards the close train, which is where Palf is. Flash lands in his face, but he's going to be able to recover in time to maybe put some bullets to faces. That being said, the bomb is being planted. And again, the economy will take over nicely for Na'Vi. Next order of business for Na'Vi is to hold on to this site. However, the weaponry heavy, stacked against them. But the M4 is still in play here, Moses. However, it's all on Seized now, and he has no Kevlar. Aim punch is going to be an issue. The problem is, as well, he's only got 25 HP, and the drive-by from Twist will pick him off. GODSENT with another round, 15-9.
Yeah, and you can see they don't really care that the bomb's getting planted. They're just saying whatever. We just want to win the rounds. Take the plant. Plenty of money on the Na'Vi side now, and we still haven't. I mean, we saw Starks with the AWP most of the first half. Haven't seen it too much in this one, and now he picks it up. He's going to have no armor behind it as well, so just going for a pickoff. But once again, in these choke points, it gets nades. Once again, the aim punch is going to be a big factor. If he gets hit with any kind of bullet, any kind of damage, it's going to be very, very hard to handle. It's a double up setup on the GODSENT sides. Schneider and Lekro bringing those into the round.
So let's see if Na'Vi have something in store for GODSENT. They're going to mix this one up. Actually staying completely away from Ivy this round. Maybe realizing that maybe don't need to deal with Pronax. If he's retaking the B site, there's not a great deal he can do. But look at Palf's position. He's managed to snake his way in. Does get the drop in Starix. And more importantly, looks like he could very well escape. No, he's got caught in no man's land. And Flamey's there to put him down. But we've seen so often that Na'Vi get the opening pick and then they decide to then rotate and start to play the mind game. So GODSENT can't even rotate all their A players over to B right now.
Well, now with over a minute, they have some time to work with here. They can force some kind of information play out of GODSENT, see if they can punish any kind of aggressiveness. They have no map control. That's the one thing, is that they do have Edward, who's kind of now starting to kind of wheel his way back towards T-Choke to try and clear out and make sure there's no one pushing Ivy, make sure there's no one pushing up mid. And they have the time to do this because they had over a minute when that trade came out, which is very, very convenient for them. But for a second there, it did look a little sketchy where Na'Vi only had 4 members over towards White Halls, towards Box Halls. They didn't have control of the map whatsoever, and GODSENT is all spread out at the moment. Huge positioning from Twist inside the ladder room, who's able to grab a lot of information if he hears footsteps. He'll be able to flank quickly towards the B site, able to rotate and peek out at awkward moments for Na'Vi if they hit the outer site. So the defense is set up pretty nicely at the moment.
It is solid. However, judging from the positions, Twist would be unable to get avenged on had he have fallen, but he does land the headshot, so it's all good. However, Starix is there, but with only 12 seconds to go when the bomb dropped in Pop Dog. This is pretty much as brutal as it gets from a T's perspective, so, I mean, the order of the day may just be to save here, honestly.
Yeah, and Twist just drops a bomb at the bottom of the ladder with 10 seconds left, so even if someone from Na'Vi wanted to come down and try and clear that position out, would have been essentially impossible. So GODSENT, they have a little bit of life here. They've gotten up to 10, and actually Na'Vi's now forced into a safe scenario. They have an AWP, they have an AK-47. So Zeus, Edward, and Starix, they might choose to buy Tech 9s behind this just based on the weaponry that they brought into this round from the last. But more than likely, I mean, this the money's still like great for GODSENT, but Na'Vi has struggled on this T side.
This is the kind of situation as well from a T's perspective when you start to get a little bit worried. When it's like 15-8, 15-9, no problem. 15-10 and starting to realize they've just gone for a force buy in this round as well. This is effectively a 2-for-1 round for GODSENT, so that's when it gets really close. But Flamey, right out from T-Main, is going to bag himself the first kill, traded out instantly from Twist. And when you consider that Na'Vi have 3 pistols accompanying that AK that's just fallen, that was a huge frag for GODSENT to pick up for themselves.
Yeah, we're not seeing it too much in this round, but throughout this half, the early aggression from GODSENT on the CT side has really thrown Na'Vi off their game, whether it's pushing Ivy, whether it's pushing Inner. They've had some success finding those kills. Sees it now with the Deagle, he's brought down to 18 HP. The bomb is working its way towards the inner site. And this might be a situation where Na'Vi's really missing Guardian with that AWP, his ability with this much time on the clock to just be able to get into a choke point, get in the ladder room or T-mid, and find a kill for them. Find something that opens things up in the mid-round.
Well, that's the thing, Guardian's a much more aggressive AWPer, so Starix's mentality definitely favors the CT side, who can be more of an AWP turret, basically, and he can just sit in the position and just rain out hellfire. But when you're on the T side, you have to play aggressively and get those picks. You're seeing him struggle a tiny bit now.
Look at this adjustment from GODSENT. 3 members towards the inner site. Twist and Lekro playing very, very close up. Lekro's got to be very careful, but they have a solid read on this. Pronax has no pressure at the outer site.
Should be golden for GODSENT, you've got to say, and that Molotov destroys them. Easy kills. Zeus at least does answer back, but again, 20 seconds to play with, and that incendiary's still ticking out. They can't get their hands on the bomb. And I think, again, they've pretty much tapped out this round and said, fair enough, let's keep the AWP alive.
Yeah, but even so, I mean, Starix and Edward aren't going to get any bonus money, so this losing bonus is building up, but they're not going to get any of it. Flamey, Season Zeus should be fine to buy. It's Flamey who's going to be a little bit light. They'll at least be able to get 2 AKs on Season Zeus, and then you'll have an upgraded pistol on that last member. But this is now a very tough situation for Na'Vi to be in, and I almost want to say, when are they going to take a pause? Are they going to be forced to take a pause here and talk things over, get back into it? Because this comeback now from GODSENT, they're starting to feel confident. They're hitting some shots. You can see that last round very, very composed for a team who got beat up in the first half, saying, all right, we know Na'Vi likes to run the clock down. We know they're going to bring it down towards 20 seconds. Save with Molotov. When we have a read on where they're going, that one Molotov just ruins everything for Na'Vi.
I said originally as well, it was effectively a 2-for-1 round. You see the importance of saving that AWP and the Tech 9 with the Kevlar behind it. If they didn't save those, you're probably looking at a half buy here maybe from Na'Vi or a really poor force buy. So it does make all the difference. That being said, we have seen them with much better buys than this and not be able to get the job done.
Well, and where they've been struggling is finding a pick, especially without going with that AVP like we mentioned. But now they don't have a lot of utility with which to find someone. They don't have Molotovs and smokes to isolate a player over towards Ivy, to work their way up to the end, to get in position for an execute. They've only got 4 smokes to work with in this round and a couple flashbangs, 3 flashbangs total. Sure
is rough. GODSENT not giving anything away so far, just keeping a triangle formation at the middle, the base of A. 2 players on Ivy. We have seen Pronax actually mix it up. He hasn't gone to Ivy for quite a while now, maybe realizing that he was getting predictable. Instead, playing a more passive position. That smoke is going to force him to relocate, though.
Well, it's all part of the Pronax plan. Playing a whole different game than Na'Vi right now, because you're exactly right, he hasn't messed with that Ivy aggression, but now you can see C's using that smoke appropriately, try and get up a position, and now they've just busted their way out. Pronax, he looks like he's waiting for a pop flash, but I don't think he realizes that people have got out. There's a free kill from C's. This is a good opening for Na'Vi now.
It's fantastic, but again, the time is low, so it just takes a couple of bullets to land from GODSENT and everything go horribly wrong, but it's gone everything the way of Na'Vi up until this moment where Palf has struck. Both players, though, from the same position is always rough. And Palf can't get it done. Finally, Na'Vi pull the trigger and knock down GODSENT, but it was a lot harder than it should have been in the end.
Yeah, a good second half from GODSENT. We talked about, though, especially once Na'Vi gets towards 15, and there was so much road to cover for GODSENT. They actually only make like one major mistake there at the end. That last round where Pronax just doesn't realize they've gotten out Ivy. That one small mistake just ends it. Na'Vi's going to take advantage of that every time.
And therein lays the issue, as we said before, when you leave yourself such little wiggle room over on the CT side, it only takes that one mistake,
right,
and you lose straight up.
And just, I mean, such a dominant first half as well. There was nothing that GODSENT could do on their terrace half, so that was brutal to watch at certain points.
It certainly was, and the thing is, there are a couple of shining lights, I suppose, on the side of GODSENT. They did have a much better CT performance, but their T side was lackluster at best. There were some real poor performances there.
Yeah, I did like the aggression, though. I did like the aggression on the CT side initially, and to open up those rounds, get some opening kills on Na'Vi, throw them off their game a little bit, because you could see it did seem like it was affecting Na'Vi. And I mean, they were just, like you said, it's a grind. It's a war of attrition. There were just too many rounds, too many opportunities for Na'Vi to get that last round. They're just based off that first half they had. So really sick stuff from Na'Vi in the first half. Gave them, you know, the opportunity to kind of be a little bit sluggish in that second one. But Starix, what a cool performance from him. That's really awesome to see. Coach coming in for Guardian, having such a huge first half.
Well, we do actually have Smix lining up an interview with Starix, the man in question, so take it away.
Thank you very much, Vince. Congratulations, Starix. That was not just an impressive performance by Na'Vi without Guardian, who many considered, obviously, your guys a star player, but I don't think many people would have predicted that you would have been top bragging for much of that match. So, I mean, you must be really pleased.
Yeah, I'll practice like 3 days at least. 3 days for sniper. We decided to come to this tournament as stand-in, as a coach, as me. So the guys are believing in me. I'm trying hard to win some games at least.
So without Guardian being here, obviously you guys are really comfortable on a map like Train. I believe you've won like 12 out of your last however many matches. 12 out of your last 14, I believe. So obviously very dominant on Train. That being said, without Guardian being here, did you have to adjust your strategy coming into this first map?
No, I just replaced the Guardian role and that's it. So I'm just replacing Guardian and that's it.
And what was it like for you? As obviously it's been a really, really long time since you've played on LAN with Navi. I think the last time was ESL1 Katowice last year, so it's been a long time, but obviously it must feel really good since you did so well.
Well, like 1 year, one year ago I was playing, and right now I'm with my guys as a coach in every practice. So I know a lot about Counter-Strike, but yeah, I need to. Sometimes I'm playing on Counter-Strike to make my shape is better.
Well, your shape looked really good.
Yeah.
All right, well, obviously you had a really good first start. Your next opponent will be either G2 or CLG. Now, you guys have played both of those teams last year. I believe you won every match, every time you played CLG. Though the last time you played G2, I think you actually lost. It was at CEVO Season 8. Though that tournament itself was just not such a good tournament for you guys. But in general, which team are you favoring to play? G2, because maybe you want that revenge from the loss from last time, or NA because NA?
Yeah, it doesn't matter for us against who we play. We are playing as 10-din and we don't care.
All right, well, that sounds pretty confident. Thank you very much, StarX, for this interview, and best of luck in your next match. Of course, we will go to a very, very quick commercial break, but when we come back, we'll have Machine and the boys dissect that match.